Let's go ahead and quilt out my latest mini quilt pattern called the Undead, which I will have a link for it down below in the description if you would like to make this zombie hand. Now, since this quilt is taller than my long arm machine's throat space, I went ahead and loaded my mini quilt on the side. That way it will be easier to quilt out the zombie hand. Then, of course, I'm going to start base stitching down the quilt's edges. But once we are ready, since this is a raw edge applique, I need to stitch about 1/8 of an inch from the edge of my zombie hand down, and I'm going to be using a thread choice that is pretty close to the zombie hand color. But once I make all my way around, I will cut thread and sew down the areas where the zombie hand is decaying as well. Now, using a fabric marking tool, I am going to use my own hand as a reference. Now, where the knuckles or finger joints would be, I am going to do like a zigzag line to kind of mimic your skin's wrinkles on the back of your knuckles. I will also add some fingernails, and then once I have a good portion of it drawn out with the fabric marking tool, I am just going to trace over my lines so I can quilt it. But do take your time with this part if you want to mimic the same thing. Now next, I am going to add some zigzag lines where your wrist would normally bend, and also add a wavy line at the bottom to mimic a ground or like a dirt surface, and then add some lines on the forearm just to give it a little something since it's kind of blank. Afterwards, I thought it would be neat to continue the ground from the applique off towards the background of the mini quilt by just going back and doing squiggly lines back and forth, so nothing too fancy. Now I am going to use a Longarm Quilting straight edge ruler and start quilting some lines spaced out so that way I can do a spider web. I wanted to make it look like, the zombie has been underground for a while, so there's kind of like bugs, spiders, etc. on the ground, and that the hand, it just poked right through the ground in the air, and there's some spider webs getting stuck to the zombie arms. That's kind of what I was going for, so I will be doing the same thing also on the other side of the hand. And lastly, I do apologize. Bef- right after I quilted my moon, I noticed I ran out of batteries and I didn't realize that when it was too late. But here I am just quilting clouds next to the moon so that way the left side isn't empty. Or what would be cool as well is if you could quilt out a bat. Now, as for the moon, I did use a circle long arm quilting ruler just to get that nice curved shape. And here it is. This is how the mini quilt came out in the end. I really love this zombie hand and I can't wait to add it to my Halloween wall collection. But if you could please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can be notified for your next amazing project.